This computer. Just organize myself here. So, my name is Yolanta, and I can't see you. And we have here. I'm actually a coach for architects specifically, but I'm leadership and business coach. And so in this venue, I'd like to basically talk more about leadership, and therefore the subject that we have today is accelerate success with productivity habits. And so this is the continuation from what we were doing last time. We've covered a range of habits, which I wanted to sort of go back and remind us. And so I hope you're going to enjoy that. Looking forward to this. Okay, great. So I wanted to start with the celebration. So I just want you to reflect on the week that has just gone through, and just celebrate something that that you have achieved. And I'd like you to share in your comments with us in the chat. Use the chat and maybe share in the comments your celebration. And if any one of you would like to step up and possibly share your celebration, I would really appreciate. Who would like to start? I would like to celebrate. I'd like to start. I would like to celebrate that I have finally gone back to gym. So last couple of weeks, I'm rebuilding my gym habits. I used to go regularly, and because of COVID and other things that I'm busy with, I stopped going regularly, and so it was very hard. So I'm celebrating going back, and I started going 2 times a week. So who else would like to thank you very much. See, I can see, and I'm just checking if anyone else is coming. Who else would like to celebrate their week with some achievements? Gail.
Yeah, I finally put my logo and tagline on Facebook.
Wonderful. Congratulations. How does that feel?
It does feel good. Now I have to do more.
That's wonderful. And did you have anyone inquiring?
Not that I'm aware of, no, but that's okay.
That's good. Fantastic. Anyone else would like to share? Gina.
Yeah, I had a lovely week. I got back into gardening, spent some really great quality time with my grandson, who's 6, and sorry, my dog's whining in the background. And I'm making progress with my very first webinar, which is going to take me a little while to develop. I'm still doing a lot of research, but you know, it's progress, so that's good.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I thought you already had few webinars, but maybe you have different groups.
This will be an automated one, I hope, Yolanta.
Oh, beautiful. Wonderful. Congratulations.
Thank you. I haven't, not there yet, so, but yeah.
Yeah, but you're getting there.
Made a start.
The first step, and it's wonderful. Anyone else had a big week? Thank you, Gina, for that.
For me, sorry, just want to raise my hand. I want to share my big win was that I finished reading the book that I was reading. It's called Everyday Hero by Robin Sharma. He was the author of 5 a.m. Club and the monk who sold his Ferrari, which was a good book for me. And then now I'm starting a new book again, which is this is I'm trying to become. I'm trying to focus on my goal to at least have 2 or 3 books in a quarter.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I heard about this author and I heard the titles. So did you enjoy it? Would you recommend this?
Yeah. Actually, I was curious. Like, he mentioned about 5 a.m. Club. I think it's one of the books that he wrote, and I heard it from a friend as well, and he said it's well recommended, but it's thicker than what I read. So I might be looking around and check that out because it's a good habit about waking up about 5 a.m. I think it's a recommendation. It's just one of the steps that he was recommending, basically. But he entitled that book with that one.
Awesome. Celebrate. Congratulations. Anyone else would like to share their week events? Shami? Yeah.
So for me, I got the first pro bono client outside TCI. So I think that's a huge step for me. I was like, that was a big blockage, like, go outside TCI and do that. So I think that's a huge step and big win for me.
Congratulations. Yes, it is big win. And what is your niche?
It's personal development.
Personal development.
Yeah.
Awesome. Fantastic. And Elizabeth, is it something that you wanted to share?
Oh, well, I had just did the first article I was asked to do. So with the help of somebody, I did, and I sent it. I'm waiting if they accept it or not to be published. So that's sort of celebration. So
Congratulations. That's fantastic. Really love that. Okay, so we all had something to celebrate. That's really good. And okay, let us move to the next slide, which is the slide from the last session. It's about, it's our toolbox of high performance habits. And we've covered the 3 habits, and all of them had various categories. So 3 categories, and they had more habits within them. And these habits were seek clarity, generate energy, and rise necessity. And I'm curious, and some of you have made your poll choices, and most of you were focusing on generating energy, and the second one was rising necessity. So I'm curious, what actually, what changed? What did you notice, and what did you implement, and what were the changes? Who would like to share?
well, I might say something about seek clarity. Yes, if you work on something, if you really deep down to that, you have more clarity. Of course, research on that, as I did on the article. So it's giving me also more energy, because if you are so you're in the right spot and you want to do that and you've done it, it's just make you happy. So that was something which I want to do, because I used to write blogs. So now could be the article publishing will be also beside the coaching. In increasing productivity, well, if you do something, it's something, but yeah, it should be continuous. Develop influence. Well, if that article will be picked as a good one, probably that there will be that, and demonstrate courage. That was the courage actually to do so and send for publishing.
Thank you, Elizabeth. We're actually going to cover all the other habits on the right-hand side from me, increase productivity and develop influence and demonstrate courage as we go. But I just wanted to reflect on, have you noticed any changes, and have you implemented any of the habits that were suggested there?
Yes, I did. I said I need, because the rise necessity, I could see, so I need to investigate more what is a current need for a certain topic. And for writing.
Wonderful. Okay, so thank you very much, Elizabeth. So what it means that you actually prompted you to really look at how to rise necessity. So it would actually create some movement in your dreams. That's great. Anyone else wanted to share? And I know you're writing here. Someone's just written. It was Gina. Gina had a quality time with my grandson back in the gardening, 2 weddings completed, progress with first webinar in development. Thanks for the books tips. Yes, from ads. Team is actually ads. And yes. All right. So tonight we'll be talking about increasing productivity, because this is actually quite important. I thought that we've lost 3 people suddenly. So moving to our slides, the purpose of today is to share powerful habits so that you can be more productive every day, every week, every month, all year long, and achieve meaningful things for yourself, your team, your business, your brand, and your family. So being highly productive is actually a challenge, especially for high achievers, because when we are high achievers, and most of you are, we have more and more opportunity coming to us, and then we actually become overloaded. And so, we either have a time to do this, but our time has a capacity. It's limited, and therefore, to be able to do more, we need to change something else, and change the efficiency how we're doing this. So the questions that I wanted to ask you is: in the last 4 weeks, how productive were you on a scale from 1 to 10? And you can type it in the chat now. I found the chat now. So it's between 6, 5, 6, and even 8.5 for Eds, and 8 for Elizabeth. It's not that bad, but it's 5 and above. So if you were to have to, what do you have to do to rise by 2 notches? So come closer to 10. What would you have to do? What would be your answer? Anyone would like to share? Gina.
I would have to not be on a holiday for a couple of days, and I would have to delay gratification around wanting to remain in my comfort zone a little. And I think during the winter, I have a tendency to hibernate and be less productive. So I need to build my energy and focus more.
Thank you, Gina. This is exactly what's happening. So when we have more on our plate, we give up something, and most of the time we give up something like around self-care, something that we enjoy, or we have rest, and so we can recharge the energy. And remember, from last session we were talking about that having energy is very important. So, and alternatively, the other alternative, what Gina also mentioned, that in winter she reduces the things to do, because she needs that naturally. She needs more rest to be able to live, to go through the another week. So this is exactly the point. And I'd like to bring the quote from Albert Einstein: "We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them." Is that ringing the bell?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes, exactly. So if we're thinking the same way, we can't do anything. The time is limited and we can't do anything. And so that's why I researched what high performers do, how they do differently, so we can learn those habits from them and maybe bring them to our life so we are able to have a rest and we are able to do more things. So this is the secret of high performers. What they basically say, what specifically do we want to move towards and why? What it means is that what they want to create is they connecting it with the things that matter. So that brings another energy, and they are more focused on the important things. So they're thinking about alignment. And now, you will probably remember this from the last session, because we're going to go into into sort of high level of thinking, because we're going to learn something new habits from high performance. I would like us to take a couple of minutes and do a little bit of stretching, and the moment of amplifying your power. So if you remember from last time, if you could all stand up and really take the space and spread your legs and arms and breathe deeply into your tummy and look up and keep breathing and think of the intention that you want to have for this hour. And bring this intention connected to your future goal. How does it make sense? Why is it important that you are here? Bring that intention so it's connected with your future, and keep breathing and focus on your future. And just enjoy breathing. Stretch and spread your arms. Do your poses, because we'll need that. We'll need it for next few things that we're going to talk about. Yes, you can meditate, bring your intention, and bring it to your heart. There is a value into that. And when you're ready, we'll come back ready. Fantastic. So the first habit that the high performers do to be efficient and productive is to focus on the things that are matter to them. So we have, if you can imagine, in our life, there is a lot of things that we could be doing, and we have the requests from everywhere. But high performers, they kind of look at everything and they think, what is relevant? What is important for me at this point of time? And so they have like three checklists. Is this thing relevant to my long-term goal? What I do is going to make me stand out. Something that it's about me. And also number 3, they think about the future. What is the contribution that I'm making to the world? So I'm building something. And the examples that they've given here is 2 examples. One was Steve Jobs, who was building the Apple brand philosophy. He was, the way he was approaching it, that he wanted create something that is simple, not complex. And he wanted to be of the very high quality and in front of every other technologies that were available at the time. And he was thinking about the future and was thinking about the quality product, and he was very passionate about the things that he was believing that he is producing. And look at this Apple technology today. It's dominating the industry. And at the same time, when the digital technology was coming and the clever people were inventing things, that was Kodak, which was already on the market for 130 years, and it was a leader in the film photography. And Kodak actually built very first digital camera. However, they didn't see the shift from analog to digital technology. They had such a great technology that they were using at the time, and they didn't envisage that this will be possible, that the world will go this way. And look what happened. And 10 years ago, they basically declared bankruptcy. They do other things, but they were just wiped off the business of the earth. So this is how we want to think. So I would like to take 5 minutes now, and for you to think about what are you creating right now in your life, what is important, and maybe have a check on how you're approaching it. How can you bring the focus on, because when you're creating something, there are so many things that you probably have in mind. And if you can take a few minutes now and maybe just focus on that and see, okay, perhaps I look at this differently. Okay, so shall we take a few minutes and then we'll have a share. Thank you. So are you ready now to share? Who would love to share about this exercise?
I will go first.
Hey, Amy, yeah.
Yeah, so I think I need to take small steps towards my goal, which is at the moment it's to having paying clients and building my knowledge and building my business. So when we were talking about this, I thought I have distracted from what I'm doing. So maybe it's time to think that I should do relevant things because especially when we are in social media, like we easily get distracted by other stuff, like, you know, because there's so many information. So I think I need to be more relevant and focus on what I'm doing, and think about how unique I can present myself to the market, and how I can contribute to a larger crowd, like in the future.
Love that. Love that.
Mm.
Very, very well said. So yes, social media taking our attention, and we are you know, wasting time, and with a limited time, you know, you rightly said, if you started to focus on what you wanted to say, and maybe limit your time looking at the social media to 20 minutes a day, and very strategic what you're looking for. Not just looking at everything, maybe just strategically looking. And yes, I love the way you said that you wanted to be unique. So you started to think about, so how am I going to be different? So people get attracted to me. And as well as I'm thinking about, what can I offer? How unique I can be, and what I can offer, which make me stand out. This is wonderful, Shermi.
Thank you.
Yes. Anyone else would like to share?
Well, I just yes, I just decide. So the nursing which I've done for many years, been working as RN and counseling and teaching, I think it's the best now to move the other part of which I always to my dream. And dream was to work for people, even if it's volunteer work, to be with more people. Mainly when I had that experience with COVID. So you sort of separate from that crowd, which it gave you energy as well. Of course, you have to learn. TCI gave me another window to the knowledge, and I think it's great. We have to improve every moment to fit not only to the crowd, but even to get further to the future.
Yes. Thank you, Elizabeth. Yes. So you started to look at other ways of networking, and finding your clients elsewhere, and and offer different type of services to your potential future clients. That's wonderful. So yes, thank you very much for that. So because the time is important, I wanted to move to the next habit. So again, high performers' secret is that they will look at their goal and focus how they can break that goal into 5 major moves. So they break this down, and then after they break them down, they start to break down each move into activities, steps, and deadlines. And because what they say, that staying focused on your goal is a discipline, but that discipline can be quickly stolen, because from early years of our life, we have been conditioned to be distracted. And what Shyami mentioned, it's now social media. Before was TV. Something is always distracting us, and we have been conditioned. So oftentimes it's difficult to keep attention. And so it's very important that we really define our goal and make a break into 5 moves. So I've given an example here, and I broke that into 5 steps. If we want to stay focused, then the step number 1 is to be intentional. Step number 2 is what impact I want to make. Step 3 are those 3 pillars? What projects do I need to do? What people I need to involve in my on my journey, and what priorities I need to make? And then number 4 is about recovering. It's about reflection and resetting. It's about the energy resetting and reflection on what we're doing. And number 5, this is also something that I've researched in what high performers do. What I say, always say say no to anything. So when you are on your journey to do your goal, to achieve your goal, always say no to everything. And us women, we all women here, we are almost conditioned to say yes to everything. But what they say, always say no, and then rationalize why would you say yes. So that is very important. So I'd like you to now to think about the goal that you've chosen, and maybe have a go at breaking it in 5 major moves. And it would take a couple of minutes, and then we share. I'm curious, how did you go? Was it helpful? Who would like to share? Gina, perhaps you could share with us. I know you are working on your webinar, green webinar.
Yeah, actually, I haven't quite finished, but because I think this takes a bit of reflection. I'm actually, the webinar is part of a project that is a long-term, very much a long-term goal to launch a sustainable sort of scalable business. So having an automated webinar is like one step in a larger plan. But it's important to me because you know, I'm not getting any younger, and to be trying to do one-to-one coaching all the time and live webinars all the time, you know, is not easy to, it's not sustainable for me. So the product, the impact I want to make is to, you know, really give quite a lot of value, and also create interest so that I can, you know, build my list of people, clients, and it's also about having a flexible lifestyle and making the most of the resources that I have within me. So I've got a coach involved, and the project really is, I'm not good with digital marketing or anything, so it's really about learning the basics of digital marketing, making sure, in addition to my coach, that I have the family on board and boundaries in place so that people can ask less of me, and so that I can prioritise this job over my wedding business longer term. And it's important to me to be able to recover and manage my energy, because I've got a chronic illness. And so I do need time to reflect, and very much as a hypnotherapist, the idea of mindfulness and being present is important. So in my business, I say it's about resetting and then reigniting and reconnecting with who you are. Mm-hmm. And so that's important for me as an individual, but also I'm a nana. I want to have time with my family as well. And I say yes all the time. So this has made me think, gosh, there are a lot of things that I should be saying no to going forward. On the other hand, though, I have said a lot of no's and I still seem to have limited time. So, yeah, I need to think a lot more on this, Yolanta, but it's really helpful.
You're welcome. Yes, yes. So the project that you're working on seems that you still need to reflect on a lot of things and to bring it to what is essential. So from there, once you have it all, you can then create your 5 moves. How are you going to really put it together so this project become reality, that this project is the outcome is that it's an evergreen resource for you to have income. And as you said, so there's this reflection how I wanted to have it, and also marketing, how I'm going to deal with this, and then again, what is the involvement that you need to do. So I really encourage you to maybe take it to the next level and to start to think, what would be your moves so this project becomes reality? Break it into 5 moves.
Yeah, and obviously getting coaching around it was the first move, because I don't have the expertise to manage this myself, and I do need the guidance. So I needed to ask for that help and do quite a lot of research into the best tools and that kind of thing. But it's interesting. I've got a 6-month, sort of step that needs to happen, but thereafter I haven't really thought about. I know it's going to be at least 3 years, but I haven't really planned that out as well as I could. So
yeah, so something to think about this. Thank you for sharing. And when you were talking about this, I just reflected that when we were talking on the previous slide, when we were talking about focus on the things that matter most, is that the attitude of high performers is that they will in what they want to achieve, they will just take the most important thing that will get them there, and then they will look at the whole picture and sort of treat them as this being a distraction, and therefore they will either dismiss it or delegate it. So it will be taken care of somehow, but it won't be on that path of focus for them. Okay, thank you for that, and I hope this was helpful for everyone, this exercise. So the next set of habits about for the achieving the high productivity is what high performance call it. It's focus on 5 skills you must be good at to achieve that goal. And so it's very important that they really identify the gaps, you know, because they need those skills. So for example, and for, you know, this is my example, in building up the business that I'm building, it's important that I develop communication and public speaking skills. I develop leadership skills because I'm building business. I need to develop marketing and sales skills, team building skills, because eventually I will build, we always not in vacuum, we are in the team, but then we will be building business. So we need a bigger team. And then we also need to understand finance. I need to understand once we're building the business. So this is the example. And so I would like you to go back to and take a couple of minutes, and then we'll share what skills do you need to be able to deliver your goal. How are you doing? Did you make any progress? Yeah, Gail said she's all right. Who would like to share? Someone who hasn't shared. Ed, would you like to share what you're working on?
I think for me, I've been thinking of creating a free blog, like writing blog. Like sometimes we post something in Facebook, right? Like about our thoughts or what we have experienced for the day or something inspirational that we could share to other people. But for me, because I've been not forcing, but I've been interested in uh, more of reading about inspirational stuff, and what if I share it as well through writing a blog out of what I've read. I think that goal would require, of course, writing and speaking skills, and of course skills of creating my own website or whatever, like free website, in order to share that inspirational thing that I've learned.
Thank you, Ed. Yes, that's really interesting. So your goal is that you'd like to start sharing your thoughts, inspirational thoughts, and
Mhm.
writing blogs and sending messages.
Mhm.
And you've identified the skills that you'd like to have, writing skills and speaking skills as well.
Mhm. Mhm.
You know, there is also the world of knowledge about how you're putting the blog together. It's about the structure as
Yes.
well. And again, you know, if you go back to the first habit is to identify how, you know, about your uniqueness and how you want
Mhm.
to be seen. That's very inspiring. Yes, great goal to have. Love that. Anyone else would like to share?
Well, actually, I might say if somebody, maybe somebody else wants, but
Yeah, go ahead, Elizabeth.
okay. Communication in public and public speaking, it's very important, I think, in any work, but leadership also. So I think public speaking, we always have to train and train. I thought I already have, but the structure which one we have to you talk about is very important. And maybe I just took from my mind what I want to say. Maybe because I did a leadership at work, so maybe that's how I prepare my speech due to agenda. Marketing and sale, definitely I have to go ahead with that. I never sold anything. I am giving away rather. And team building, well, there was a bit skills about that leadership. So team building is very important together. And finance always needed wherever you do, and learning things you have to pay for. So it's very important to think about that, how you are going to end it up and what is the priority in your life. But that's if you want to do coaching or whatever business, you have to have all of the points really up to date.
Thank you, Elizabeth. So I understand that you are also building a business, and so you reflected on that example that yes, that's something that you might need to bring and put on a list to improve. Great, fantastic. So let's move to the next high performance habit. And so the high performers, they want to be very effective in their day, and so what they say that they take 5 to 10 minutes breaks every 15 minutes. So they look at an hour as a, you know, they have a task to do, and they put the alarm clock, and they do regard, you know, after 50 minutes they take a short break. And what it means that they sort of recharge their energy, they stretch, you know, disconnect the mind from the intensity they will be working on. And there's also, there are some techniques around on internet, but I've heard about this one. It's a release tension and set intention strategy, and it's available on internet. And so it's basically, you know, taking few minutes for breathing, and oftentimes it's what they say, it's hard to disconnect with the intensity of thoughts or what they were doing before. So they basically, you know, close their eyes and they say, release, release. They keep repeating that word, and it allows the nervous system, our nervous system, to calm down. And then once we calm, we can set intention for another hour. And so I think it's a quite a great technique to do. And so if you need to release the tension now, we could try that. We could just, you know, take a deep breath right now, and say to ourselves, release, 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 and set an intention for the rest of tonight. I love to serve you all. This is my intention. And let's move to the last habit. So that the high performance performers habit is to, before the start of the day, take a 20-minute, even in their mind, or a piece of scrap paper while they're having breakfast or coffee, they prepare for the day. And the reason they prepare, they already know what's going to happen, and they have people in positions and they know what they're going to do, but they always challenge themselves. And so what they do, they ask themselves this kind of question, like, how could I make this task better? So they sort of run with their mind through the task. They already know it, and see, maybe they just improve there and there, because they're thinking about how can I improve it. And they again reconnect with the outcome they want to achieve. So they might find some fine tuning in that task. And what are your comments? What are your thoughts about this? Would that be beneficial to do something like that? I think so too. Even though we do certain things and they're pretty good, we could always improve. So perhaps take a couple of minutes to think through the task that you are going to do tomorrow, and maybe just run that task through your mind. I hope this was serving you. Something probably to remember every morning to go through. So this is it, really, for about the habits. And I'd like to ask you your comments about which habit should you be doing to put you on the path to success. And I've listed all 5 habits, and I'm curious, which habit do you find really very relevant that you could start implementing tomorrow? Gina said, preparing my day better. Yes. Prepare your day. It adds also things that preparing the day, something that you can implement immediately. I like that you've noticed that this is a value. Preparing the day is a value, and it only takes 20 minutes or so. It could be done over coffee. Focus on what matters most and prepare my day, Shayami. Wonderful. Anyone would like to share what key takeaway from today? Let's have a chat about your key takeaways. And
May I just say, Yolanta, that I love the fact that all 5 habits are 5-minute habits. So it's not asking, you know, a huge amount of us in some ways, although I think it will take longer than 5 minutes initially. But, you know, to get to that point where it's only 5 minutes on each of these things is a great goal in and of itself.
yes, I like that too. Because every habit takes time to develop. People say between 30 to 60 days to develop a habit. But once we have that habit, and this is really straight from high performance people who implement it, and that's how they live every day. And they say this is how they approach everything. And so it becomes like a second nature to do that. Love that. Any other shares? Who else would love to share? Gail, would you like to share anything?
Yeah, it's about preparing your day. And if, like you said, if you take 5 minutes and then with each step, and then I think it gives you more energy because you've achieved something, so you go and do more.
Yes. Yes, it is about saving energy. It's all about that because in the end of the day, we only have 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
And we want to do it all. We want to have enough energy. We want to have enjoyment during the day, not just work, but we are human beings. We're high achievers here. We want to achieve our dreams.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, your 5-minute habits, if you know it's only going to be 5 minutes, but it gets you motivated as well. Yeah.
Yep. And takes you off the habits that we might have that are not as productive as these ones.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Thank you, Gail. Love your share. Who else would love to share?
I just noticed it's a very good actually break your goals into 5 more. So actually it's more the steps maybe make it easier to embrace that goal.
Yes, yes. Also very valuable, Elizabeth. Thank you for that. Because when we have a goal and it's huge, it scares us, and we tend to put it off because we don't know how to bite it. But when we break this down into 5 little steps, and becomes manageable because we can focus on the smaller thing, not on the big thing. Great observation. Fantastic. So I know we've already gone past 1 hour, and so what I'd like you to do next is to post your key takeaways in the group. And the way you do it, just do the hashtag and the KNT, and just write, very short message, because that message is important for someone who hasn't been here tonight to get inspired and curious. And we all have a different map and we see things differently. And when we read somebody else's comment, we are able to say, okay, this is something that this person noticed, and maybe I have a chat with person, so we also connect with one another. Now, I didn't ask the question in the beginning, but I did send to you the weekly whole life assessment, and I'm curious if you were able to, you had a chance to look at that and maybe assess yourself. Not yet. I hardly recommend that you do that, because if we do that over a number of weeks, we actually start to see difference, because we send a message to the brain that maybe if this area is lower, maybe we need to do something about. So we become more holistic. We become, our life become like a ball, and the ball is rolling fine, rather than just being, in one area super developed, but the other areas are neglected. So I highly recommend. And I later tonight, or maybe tomorrow morning, I will send you a little gift, a little workbook, so you can reflect on the things that you have done and maybe make some comments. And so I trust that this was helpful, and you'll be able to include this in your life every day and bring, even if just one habit. And I also encourage you to maybe write in the group about how you implemented a habit and how it's changed your life. Oh, it's changing your life. It's just the beginning. So thank you all for coming here, and I wish you a great night tonight, and a wonderful Thursday, Friday, and the beautiful weekend that is ahead of us. It's lovely to see you. Now, yes, thank you very much. And so, because I won't be able to do a session in 2 weeks' time, I'd like to do it in 3 weeks' time. Is that okay? So I send the booking, and I set up event. Last time I didn't set up the way I should have set it. So I'm going to correct that again. So I'm learning here as well. I'll set up in the group. So event will be there, and I put the link there for you as well. Have a great 3 weeks. I'm looking forward to another session. I was thinking, actually, just before we go, I was thinking that we still have a couple of categories of habits that I would maybe make a break from habits and have a session about what are we creating here. So we'll have a little reflection. What are we creating for ourselves? Would that be a good idea? Right. Okay. Thank you. Have a great night.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Yolanta, thanks.
Thanks, Alanta. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Yolanta.
You're welcome.